All right. So go back. So Uncle Dan was a Kennedy, like your grandmother was,
My grandmother.
and he was in World War One.
He was a brother. Yeah.
And then he got gassed in France, but he would show you all his books and
Yeah.
training and all that because he could still see.
Yeah, he could see him a little bit. He could see, but he was legally blind. But
And then so Uncle Willie was at Iwo Jima. We know
he
that.
got wounded there.
And George, who was George Kennedy to you?
Danny, the son.
So he was the son of Uncle Dan, who was in World War One, and he was in the Navy.
Okay.
And you don't know what ship it was that he was on?
No, I just knew that he was sent home and with another guy, and he got some kind of medal for it. Yeah.
Because he was torpedoed.
Yeah, he's torpedoed. But I seen him when I was a kid. They seen me come home in Navy uniform. Grandma used to take pictures with him. We kids get out there when we go. You know?
Right.
George and the family were there. When he'd come home, we'd come out and see him.
So he went to World War II. So did anybody from the family go to Korea?
No.
No?
Jesse, my other Mike's dad, was in the Air Force, but he was never sent to Korea. But he was in the Air Force.
During the conflict.
Yeah, but he didn't go to Korea.
I got you. And then after that was Vietnam, and that's where your brother, John, went.
Brother went to Vietnam.
Did he go early? I don't even know when he
He
went.
went about 65, 66.
So that's early.
Yeah.
So that's very early.
Well, 65, he'd been 20, and he went before his 20s.
So very young.
Yeah. And he came back. Of course, John was John. He had his own way of doing things.
Already.
But,
So, you know what, like, what division or whatever he was in?
John,
Yeah.
82nd Airborne.
And so that a lot of combat or no?
Yeah. They were over there, whatever he did. I think he also guarded, they had to guard prisoners.
All right.
And, in the camps. And I think he did that too. But and I heard they told my mom he got medals, so but he was frustrated with the war.
Didn't think it should be there.
Yeah, and he told his mom he chunked the medals,
Really?
and he wasn't gonna wear them. So he got out, and my mom, he was over there one time visiting my mom, and she checked for him. He went one of those, I guess he changed the heart, he wanted medal. So because records was in Louisiana. I think he got it. Yeah, he had all them medals. He said he did.
Wow.
But,
You can look that up. That's probably public record.
yeah. But anyway, sorry for that. Then like Dennis and Danny, they were in Iraq.
Right.
Both of them were over there. In fact, Dennis came over when she was leaving, and she got to see him a few days before she left. But Danny, they were both over there in Iraq. I always had somebody in the family.
So anything before World War One you can recall? Civil War.
They had Civil War.
Spanish.
People in Civil War. That was a McCullough in the family. He was in Confederate side. Grandma's from Alabama. And,
Your grandma was?
yeah.
From,
And I think, I don't remember his name. But anyway, I think he got wounded in the war. And,
he was a what? What'd you say? A major?
what? I don't know. I thought he was some kind of officer, but they told me, I've heard it. I even got a letter from him or something. Now, Tony may have that, because I had all these letters here. Tony, keep these letters. They were old letters.
Really?
I think he got them. And I didn't know what to do with them, And I said, take them. I hope he kept them, know what to do with them. But I inherited them. Somebody had all them letters from my grandpa's sisters and stuff. Grandpa was the youngest. His sisters were a lot older. And they send out Valentine cards and all these cards. He sent these cards out. Kept some. And they were really collectors out of them now.
Well, you'd have to.
Yeah. And I kept them. I knew I was moving out here, and I was trying to get stuff
Shrink
out.
down, yeah.
Gave you stuff, and come here and take this, and I'm trying to clean it out so it'd stay in the family. You know, I'm trying to make everything stay in the family.
I understand.
But, a lot of going on through the years. My family, as far as that was concerned.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And then you're related to Gene Autry.
Gene Autry.
We are,
on my
and then who?
grandfather's side. Yeah.
And then
The Autry's, we have Autry's.
Micajah Autry from the Alamo.
Yeah.
And Gene used to, I don't want to say brag about it, but he used to let people know he's related to Micajah as well. It had to be good for his business.
Well, when I was a little
But it was
kid,
true.
Huh?
But it was true, too.
Yeah. But when I would go, my Aunt Sarah used to tell me. That was my grandpa's older sister, my Aunt Sarah. And Sarah would tell me, I started going to movies when I was like 9, 10. And she used to sit me and my brother down and say, well, you boys go see Gene Autry, that's your cousin. Think it was their cousin. So they always say, you boys go see Gene Autry, that's your cousin.
So she was your grandfather's
older
sister, because I remember her.
All of them are older than
And then Dorothy was her daughter.
Yep.
So I remember
Bessie,
Sarah.
Bessie was a sister. Dorothy was Bessie's daughter. That was
Because the reason I remember Aunt Sarah, because I slammed her finger in the dang car door.
Did she?
It was the worst day ever. And she acted like it did not hurt. This lady had to be, 80 years old?
Yeah.
She acted like it didn't hurt. She acted like it was no big deal. And here I was pretty much crying. I could not believe I had done that.
She's an older woman, man.
And she acted like it was no big deal. She went out of her way to make me feel better. That's probably why I do remember her. Because Caroline freaked out when it happened. I didn't realize what I had done. And it wasn't very pretty. But she acted like it did not hurt. It was no big deal. You didn't know. I mean, I'm telling you, she went out of her way to make me feel better. And I had to have been 10 years old, 11 years old.
Really? Wow, she's old, man.
Because we had gone to her house. Caroline taking me there.
Yeah, there was in a house at San Marcos.
I don't know, or Austin, one of the other.
She moved to Austin when she got real old.
I think it was Austin, because I can still see the house.
Bessie and Dorothy took care of her.
But yeah, I slammed her finger in a car door.
Oh, okay.
And I've had a lot worse days than that, but up to that age, that was definitely the worst day of my life.
That made me feel bad.
For a long time. But then I did like worse things that were like a lot dumber, so I don't feel so bad as I used to. But it still wasn't right. It was very traumatic for me. Here, this lady was so nice to me. I really don't understand how I'm related to her, but I slammed her door in her finger in the car door.
That's my mom's aunt, your grandma's aunt. Let's make sure Aunt Sarah to us and Aunt Sarah to you. But down the line.
That was no bueno.
But she used to sit there and tell us she did snuff.
Shut up.
She wouldn't tell nobody. She'd do it when I was there. She had a little can, she had a little stick. She'd dip this snuff. And she said, now don't tell anybody. I said, all right.
I ain't saying anything.
So she go dip snuff, and she told me, when she's a little girl, back 1800s, 1890s and stuff, they come and pick them up in wagons, take them to school, horse and wagons.
Mm-hmm.
They jumped in the back of the wagon.
Yes.
And that's how they went to the school bus. So they take her to school. She told me, I used to jump off the back. I'd run up in the hayloft. She said I had snuff in the hayloft. I said, no, they didn't dip snuff. I just stay in the hayloft till school.
And not, oh my goodness. The original juvenile delinquent.
Yeah, she was. She was funny. She told me, yeah, I'd go jump off that wagon and
I probably wouldn't tell anybody else that.
But she married Uncle Alan. He was older.
To Spain?
To Spain.
So that's who had married Alan to Spain. So I didn't ever know.
That was and Sarah.
Sarah,
and Alan, Uncle Alan.
I did not know that.
Which is where I got my name from.
Right, our name.
Because they didn't have any kids. And
right.
My mom made me after Uncle Alan. But he was real quiet. He was older, she was a lot older. And I think he died in the early 50s or mid 50s.
Uh-huh. Oh, so she was a widow for a long time.
Oh, yeah, the rest of her life, you know. But anyway, we'd always have Thanksgiving dinner at Grandma's. So he'd come up, and Sarah said, she called him Tiny. He was a big man,
yeah.
Very large man. She called him Tiny. And she said, Tiny gets the back. He'd go up there and he'd always get the back of the turkey. And you know, the old man, he wouldn't say nothing. He goes up, think he couldn't chew. He'd chew real soft, you know. He probably didn't have any teeth, I don't remember. But anyway, I used to look at him and I said, man, the old guy probably didn't really want that back. And Sarah told him that's what he needed, so he ate that back to be nice, you know. Say, Alan gets a back. Shoot, I wanted the drumsticks and the thighs. I was ready to eat back then.
Heck yeah.
And anyway, Grandma would always give Uncle Alan the back. She always called him Tiny.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah. Her first husband died when she was young.
Who, Sarah's?
Yeah, and she called him Mr. Maldy. She called her husband Mr. Maldy. That's the way she referred to him.
What happened to him?
He just died. I don't know. He died a bunch of years earlier. She finally married Uncle Alan, and they lived in Wimberley. Had that big house there. He owned some buildings. He owned
right, Town Square and all that stuff.
Right on the, yeah, he used to own a lot of that on there. He was a mayor and everything else,
yeah.
I think. But, he's a voting mayor, but he's one that...
I'm the mayor of Katy. He was the mayor of Wimberley. It's fine.
Yeah, Uncle Alan. He was always very quiet. Didn't say much.
Probably why he did so well.
Yeah. Told him about he came into Wimberley. Nobody knows where he came from.
No?
No, they don't know where he came from. He ended up in there. And evidently he had money.
All right.
So just like my mom said, don't tell him where he had the money from. But he go up there and sell out, bought stuff, started businesses. Right there, like I say, on the square. The house was right there on the square.
On Town Square of Wimberley?
Oh, yeah. I don't think nobody lives there. They used to.
Last time I heard it was the office.
Yeah, some kind of information center.
Something. But the Spain was still in the bricks. That's what somebody told me.
They used to have the Spain on this colored brick up there.
And that's what...
I don't know if that's still there or not.
Last time I heard it was, but I've not been to Wimberley.
I have ever been to Wimberley.
I neither.
But I know he's walked the house and walked down the streets, the sidewalks over there. We used to go in the drugstore, get some coke or something, you know.
Because he had the drugstore too.
I think he had a drugstore, yeah. I think he had that.
Wasn't he the postmaster as well?
Yeah.
He was the postmaster.
Sure was.
And that's where Alan, that's how you came up with Alan.
Yeah.
And that's how I ended up with Alan.
Because I got Alan and you're Andrew Allen.
And that's fun. And that's good.
And get you something, you know. I was thinking of names. See, I always thought of boys' names. Your mom thought of girls' names. So I thought, Andrew.
Well, Angelina would have been Micaiah if she'd have been a boy.
Oh, yeah.
And from what Mom says and what Elaine says and what Angelina says, thank God I wasn't a boy.
Yeah.
I was going to call him.
She had a nice name for a girl, but I don't remember what it was. It was kind of French, kind of a good name. But I couldn't tell you. She probably knows.
She would know. Of course she knows.
But I know. But I just remember I had a girl that she would have a pretty name. But then I come up, somehow Anthony changed. So gave y'all boys your own name. But I threw one of mine in the middle.
And that's good.
That's what I did.
That's why I wanted Angelina to be Angelina Christine. Christine is Elaine's middle name, and that was my idea. And when I suggested it, I think she was very surprised. Are you serious? I'm like, yeah, it's perfect. I mean, you're her mother.
That's a good, goes together. Angelina Christine goes good. Sarah Ann's good.
Sarah Ann? Well, Ann is from Mom.
Yeah.
And Sarah was from, well, you know, it's funny because Sarah always liked the name Sarah. And I guess subconsciously, I was like, you know, I slammed this lady's finger in the car door and she acted like it was no big deal. Let's name a kid after her.
Is that what?
So maybe that's what happened.
Maybe.
I did think that did really, really cross my mind. I always liked Sarah. And your mom, my grandma, asked me how I ended up with Sarah, and I was like, I don't know. It's just a pretty name, a biblical name.
Yeah.
And I thought it'd be good.
It's a good name. And I say it to your mom. Patricia Ann. Yeah, pretty good on that.
So that's where I am.
Spread that name around, still going.
Still going. All right. And that's stuff that Pawpaw says.